So, hi guys, all of you out there that are tuning in or tuning out. I'm going to do some little sort of reviews of well, not reviews, but little chats about the Doctor and his different incarnations, his different regenerations, however you want to put it. And I was going to start at the beginning, but then I thought that's boring because you're just going to go in order in here. So what I did was I wrote 1 to, well, we're at 1 to 12 because we haven't seen the new one yet. So I wrote 1 to 12, stuck my hand in, rummaged around, pulled out, and luckily enough, it's like I planned it, I didn't, I got Doctor number 3 first, Jon Pertwee, who at the time was very famous for being a radio personality. He'd done a few TV things and things like that, but he was mostly a silly voice kind of man on the radio, and it was a bit of a shock to people when they said that this comedic actor was going to be playing the Doctor. Luckily, I think he was, I don't know, I'll be honest, he's kind of my favourite Doctor because he has the very seriousness, he's got a bit of action and adventure, he's got a bit of everything in there. And he had some of the best stories. Terror of the Antons, Inferno, Claws of Axis, Three Doctors, Carnival of Monsters. Yeah, some of his best. Some of the best Doctor Who episodes are in there, to me anyway. He ran from season 7 to 11. Quite a good run, which was 1970 to 74. I was born in 73, so yay. They were actually filming, and I've probably mentioned this in one of the other videos, they were filming the Three Doctors. I think it's a scene with where the squidgy monster's there and, you know, Bessie and they're hiding behind it and that. They were filming that on the day I was born. So there you go. He had some of the great assistants. Liz Shaw was the first one. She only did 1 season. I think they were a bit because they made her quite clever. And she was an equal to the Doctor, which then meant that the exposition thing of having the assistant there kind of disappeared. But this was the era when the Doctor was exiled to Earth, so he worked with UNIT. And in working with UNIT, Liz Shaw was his assistant. It introduced the Brigadier and all the UNIT staff. He didn't like working for UNIT at the beginning, but he became friends with the Brigadier. He became friends with the rest of them, and yeah, sort of stuck around. And he continued even when his exile was ended and he was given back the dematerialization circuit for the TARDIS. Try saying that with your teeth in. Dematerialization circuit. 3 rounds rapid. I can say that. That was one of the Brigadier's favourite phrases. 3 rounds rapid at the Gargoyle Man. I mean, there's another one, Demons. What a great episode. I do think that Jon Pertwee's era was the era when Doctor Who really found its feet. When a lot of us, it was the first colour series, first colour version anyway. We had the great, of course, we were talking about assistants, Jo Grant and Sarah Jane Smith. I think Jo Grant was my favourite assistant. She was the one that I discovered girls with Jo Grant. But anyway, they went a different way with her because they'd obviously done the Liz Shaw, who was very equal to the Doctor. Not quite, but was there. They then introduced Jo Grant, who was a little bit of an airhead. But I think she's brilliant for that because then it gives the Doctor somebody to... And he really did... You always really did feel like he cared about her. Even though he hated her in the first couple of episodes. He really did kind of learn to appreciate her. And was very sad when she left. That is the Green Death. The end scene of him saying goodbye to her and driving off into the distance is a real heartbreaker. But then he got Sarah Jane Smith, who did most of his last season and then went on to be one of the great assistants with Tom Baker. And such a sad loss as well. But he also introduced some of the great standout villains. Omega, Sontarans, Solarans, Sea Devils, and of course some bloke, let me think, guy with a goatee beard, wore black, the Master. Richard Delgado was his Master, the guy that played the Master in his season, and I think is the best interpretation of the Master. He appeared in nearly every episode of like one season. He was like in every story because Earth-based, and so was he. He was a brilliant character, and I have to admit that's why I didn't really rate Missy as being the Master, because I just could not see how that became that. But that's a different story. Yeah, he was the only Doctor to never face the Cybermen. They appeared, I think, in Minds of Evil and Carnival of Monsters, like on monitors and things like that. But he never had the Cybermen in his stories, which is kind of strange. They did appear with him in the Three Doctors. I think that was kind of a nod and a wink. But the Cybermen in the Three Doctors are slightly embarrassing because they get taken out by a robot, and it's so. Yeah, so he is kind of my favourite Doctor. He was a more. This was the era of like the James Bond kind of era. So he was more of an action man. He knew like Venusian Kung Fu and stuff like that. And yeah, he was more hands-on where the previous two Doctors would maybe run away or sort of dodge having to fight or be, hands-on or get a companion to do it. He used to go in there and he was a real action man. He flew helicopters. He had funny enough, like I think it was one from the Bond film, Little Nell, that's in one of the Bond films. It's like a little helicopter. He flew in one of those, which that's a really weird episode because it's like a 20-minute. Well, it's not 20 minutes because the episode's 20 minutes, but it's like quite a large part of the episode is this long chase, which gets nowhere. It's really pretty to look at, but it gets nowhere. So, but yeah, he to me is the one that created. His Doctor was the Doctor where it started to be Doctor Who. And I will always have a soft spot for the Third Doctor. He was often reversing the polarity of the neutron flow, which actually he only said that twice. He did reverse the polarity a lot, but not always the polarity of the neutron flow, which has become, I have to admit, it is a phrase I use now and again during my everyday life. So, yeah. If you out there haven't seen any of his stories, please, like I said, do try Terror of the Antons, Claws of Axis, Three Doctors, Carnival of Monsters, Demons. Just try any of them. I think he is what Capaldi wanted to be. I think that's the way he wanted to play his Doctor, as this more serious sort of diplomat of a Doctor. Unfortunately, Capaldi didn't seem to play that. He just played a guy in a hoodie. I mean, who wears hoodies? Really, who wears hoodies? Yes. So, if you've enjoyed my little chat, you'd like to see more of me talking about Doctor Who's, leave some likes, leave some subscriptions, have a watch, have a view, have a watch some of my other videos. I've got some good stuff out there. It is great to talk to you. I'm getting more subscribers every day. I'd love to get to 100. That's my dream, is to get to 100. Then I feel I've achieved something. I'm on 35 at the moment. So I can only get to 100 if you guys help and support me. It's great sitting here talking to you guys. I get to vent my spleen about all my geeky interests. And Doctor Who is one of them. It has been around in my life for a very long time. So, thank you for listening. Subscriptions, watch the other Doctor Who videos. Yeah, got you. Have a great day, a great night, and I will see you all really soon. And put those pickled onions down.